So we have all these outlets saying wacko things, and that wasn't the only one, folks, because in our next segment here, we have the New York Times article talking about Biden's age. And it's not just about saying and talking about his age. They're saying that he's sharp, fit, and having a striking stamina after him falling. I'm not kidding. This is real. And then the next article, which also comes from the New York Times, is talking about how the schedulers for the president are having to leave him alone because of his age. It's insane. Hit that like and subscribe button, folks, if you haven't already. So the New York Times is facing ridicule, just like the Washington Post in the first segment, on Twitter after an article Sunday painted President Joe Biden's old age in a positive light, describing the 80-year-old president as, quote, sharp, fit, and having striking stamina. It's like we're listening to The View here. Striking stamina? We talked about this. Axios has reported that the White House is having issues with his scheduling because he doesn't have the stamina. His old age is an influence on what they can do with him. So his hours are like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. supposedly. And now they're even having on the weekends going, hey, look, we're just going to leave the guy alone. He can't keep up here. But we're supposed to say he's sharp and fit. He fell asleep during a 60 Minutes interview. What do you mean he's sharp and fit? He fumbles with his teleprompter all the time. All the time's written for him. He doesn't have to think. He doesn't have to use this. He just has to read and he fumbles. What do you mean? And having a striking stamina. Oh, okay. Like, his own White House aides are terrified that he's going to trip over a cord. And that's pretty much what happened with this fall from the Air Force Academy graduation ceremony. He tripped over a sandbag because he was trying to look youthful and prance and jog in a weird and awkward way. I don't try to make fun of the guy, but it's like, come on. It's a little bit much here what we're trying to do and spin this whole thing. I can't believe there's not more outrage from the press here in the White House press briefing rooms questioning Karine Jean-Pierre and the manipulation coming out from the Biden administration, I guess in conjunction with the freaking outlets here, the New York Times and others, painting this guy as if he's freaking, fit as ever. The New York Times article, written by a White House reporter, Peter Baker, Michael Shear, and Katie Rogers. Oh my God, they got a litany of people. Well, titled Inside the Complicated Reality of Being America's Oldest President. Oh, it's so complicated. The only thing that's complicated and a complicated reality in all this is Joe Biden's own thinking. That's what's complicated in his head. He can't make sense of it. He doesn't even know his name. He doesn't know his name at all. Well, they claim that Biden's aides have been purposefully limiting his exposure to the media to avoid any potential gaffes. Then why are you saying he's fit and sharp and striking stamina? Why are you saying those things, but yet they're trying to avoid these types of things? We all know what's going on. We're not idiots. Quote, the two Bidens coexist in the same octogenarian president. Sharp and wise at critical moments. The product of decades of seasoning, able to rise to the occasion, even in the dead of night, to comfort a dangerous world. Oh, God. Talk about rubbing the shoulders and feet of Joe Biden. God, could you get down on your knees even more? Yet a little slower, a little softer, and a little harder of hearing, a little more tentative in his walk, a little more prone to occasional lapses of memory in ways that feel familiar to anyone who has reached their 9th decade or has a parent who has. Oh, come on. Come on. It's more than that. It's more than that. We all get old age, but the gaffes are a little bit too much here. Well, like many his age, Mr. Biden repeats phrases and retells the same story, often fact-challenged stories again and again. He's been telling the same story that his son died in Iraq. Like, for years and years this has been going on. And that's not just the only one. By the way, when he was, quote, mentally fit and sound, he was also lying about stories. The guy's been lying his entire life. So this is not the only time they're, oh, well, it's his old age. No, it's been going on for a long time. The article continued here. He can be quirky when children visit. Look, I'm going to be careful here because we're on YouTube, but we all know Joe Biden's weird stuff with children. He may randomly pull a book of William Butler Yeats off his desk and start reading Irish poetry to them. Make what you will with that one, folks. I'm not going to go any further. Well, at the same time, he is trim and fit. Oh my God. Folks, it's in the article. These are exact quotes. At the same time, he is trim and fit. Check this out. Exercises 5 days a week and does not drink. Okay, sure. Guy almost trips over a blade of grass, but yeah, you're right. Oh, he exercises 5 days a week. He has at times exhibited striking stamina. Not gonna get through this. I was trying not to break this entire time. I thought I was doing pretty good. If that doesn't deserve a like and subscribe already, I don't know what does, because I've been holding it in. Now it's just gonna be let loose. So he exhibits striking stamina since when he flew to Poland, then boarded a 9-hour train ride to make a secret visit to Kyiv. Folks, in that visit, by the way, they had air raid sirens going off, and they're like, oh, he was in a war-torn country. He was in the middle of battle, all these things. And then people came out going, yeah, I've been here for like literally months, and we've never heard an air raid siren at all. And it just so happens Joe Biden was there for 20 minutes walking up steps, and everybody had to make sure he didn't fall. That was the only time the air raid sirens went off ever. Even when he left, it still hasn't gone off. So, oh, he's in a war-torn country. Oh, yeah, sure. So Biden spent hours on the ground, sometimes literally, like we saw over last week, literally on the ground, or falling up a flight of stairs. He's falling down, flight of stairs. I mean, the guy falls everywhere. Who knows how many times this guy's fallen in the White House that we don't even know about. Then endured another 9-hour train ride. Oh my God, he has to sit down for 9 hours. And a flight to Warsaw. A study of his schedule by Mr. Biden's aides shows that he has traveled slightly more in the first few months of his third year in office than Mr. Obama did in his. Look, Obama sucked as well. Okay. So, that's not a pat on the back from anybody. Steve Guest, a special advisor for communications from Ted Cruz of Texas, called the article embarrassing. Oh, I mean, that's being nice. Another person said the article is slobbering or drooling. Either one works well. Former Obama speechwriter Jonathan Favreau, who now co-hosts Pod Save America, said the article was pretty positive. Yeah, I would say so. What part of it wasn't positive? You're literally spinning and manipulating and gaslighting everybody about this president. National Review contributor said the article was not totally objective. You think? The crazy thing is here, 25% of the Americans will still vote for this guy. I mean, he's not there. You have other people on the bench for the Democrat Party that could probably do way better than this guy, I would imagine, or you don't. On the Republican side of the aisle, the extremists, the ultra MAGA, the crazy supporters, whatever you want to call them, threat democracy, which we're not. We got Donald Trump, beautiful than ever. We got Ron DeSantis. We got Tim Scott. We got Vivek Ramaswamy, who's freaking smarter than everybody combined, even on the GOP side. You don't want to go up against that guy. We have a litany of people. Democrat, Sleepy Joe. That's who they got, Sleepy Joe. Hey, he's fit, folks. He's fit. But good for the Times to actually write this. It's still not totally objective, but it's a solid effort at least. Come on. I mean, those are in a positive spin at best, but more likely is that many of the presidential level decisions are not made by Biden at all. I mean, that part's true. We're still trying to figure out who's running the show, who is drawing the strings of the puppet on this one. We would all love to know. I mean, there's a story for you. And again, I am surprised every White House press briefing, nobody's questioning Joe Biden's mental capabilities. Well, what's even more insane about that, the same outlet, you guys, the same outlet, the New York Times, said this: President Biden's officially reportedly being left alone as often as, basically, his officials are saying they're leaving him alone on the weekends. They're leaving him alone as often as they can, just to tend and adjust his schedule to avoid trimming or I can't even sound like Joe Biden now. It's Joe pressure. To avoid scheduling and tiring an aging president. This comes from the New York Times. So the outlet reported that officials have said that they try to leave the president alone on weekends and tend to schedule all public appearances between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. They changed it now. They changed it again. I made a joke about this the other week. About, his schedule's probably later than 10 a.m. now. Okay, so when Jen Psaki, you're getting a real-time reaction from me, by the way. I haven't read this whole article. Jen Psaki was, I believe, on MSNBC saying, oh, well, the president doesn't do anything before, I think it was 9 a.m. And everybody was shocked by that. Like, I'm working already before 9 a.m. Usually, older people are early bloomers, right? And then it came out by Axios that the White House aides aren't doing anything past 10 a.m. Like, they're not scheduling anything past or before 10 a.m. Now we're getting reports here. This is breaking news. That now they push it back another 2 hours. Now he's not doing anything before noon. He's working 4 hours a day. No wonder everything's going to crap. The guy can't stay awake. Hey, he wants to run again, though. He wants to run again. The amount of deterioration that's happened with this guy is insane. But hey, that's who Democrats want. He's the front runner. If you want any representation of how the Democrat Party is, you're looking at it. Doesn't get anything done. Wants to wreck this country from the inside out. Wants to rub the shoulders and massage the feet of the Chinese. It's thing after thing. We can go on all day. We talk about it all the time. But, avid listeners of the Bald Brad Show understand exactly what I'm talking about. A Democrat who chose to remain anonymous, I would too, said this. They told the New York Times that Biden's age was a popular discussion topic among prominent members of the party. Think about how insane that is, that you have to be anonymous to recognize that the guy's old and a fumbling old guy. I mean, it's everybody. It's obvious, but for some reason, the Democrat Party, objective reality isn't a part of it. I don't mean to hound them, but in our day and age now, I don't understand why objective reality is so hard. Like, the Democrat Party literally believes that you can just morph into a different sex and gender. As you can tell, I got a beard. I'm as manly as they come, folks. I'm ripped, I'm jacked, I'm manly, right? That's a little bit of a joke. But I'm a man. I'm a biological male. They fully think, you guys, that I could sit there and shapeshift into a female. Like, somehow my junk just disappears, and I'm now all my chromosomes and everything's rearranged and switched. Like, there's no objective reality anymore. Again, wait till our next segment. We're going to get into that. Well, at a small dinner earlier this year, the former Democratic senators and governors, all of them in Mr. Biden's generation, everyone at the table agreed he was too old to run again. Then why are you chauffeuring him out again? Because he officially announced he would be running for re-election in 2024, folks. You guys think he's going to make it? And I don't want anything ill will to happen to Joe Biden. He's my president too, but for the love of God, folks, can we just all be adults about this? Adults in the room, not to be anonymous about this guy's age and fumbling, doddering old fool, because the New York Times is rubbing his shoulders. The Washington Post is rubbing the Democrat shoulders. I mean, who's next? Folks, I would love to hear from you on anything we covered here in today's episode. We got one more segment here. Don't forget to leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.